So, right, we're back. What I thought we'll do to discuss the rest now is, I thought a team that would be interesting to jump to and discuss is the aforementioned Royal Never Give Up. Because, unfortunately, if they were, as I said, the team that people sort of just had like a soft spot for, or people just like their style of play and they have a very defined playing style, I don't feel like we're actually going to get any answers out of this fucking group now, though, because of what's happened to Fnatic. Because realistically, if you look at the group, Fnatic losing Upset, and especially obviously like Upset in terms of his role within their team, is irreplaceable. They do not have a sub who's anywhere close to level. We could probably talk about them as a team separately in a minute, but basically it has meant that, like, no joke, on paper they should go 0-6. There's no reason they should win a game, basically, especially because their style was super all-in anyway, so it's going to be super hard for that guy to adapt to that. He's not playing a classical ADC style. Then you consider that Hanwha, as we've already waxed lyrical about, is basically a broken squad that has no real reason to win, and then even their star player almost hasn't got the fucking memo that he has to try and 1v9 the game. So actually, what's mental is, as the current standings go, the second best team in the group ended up being PSG Talon. Now, here's the thing. If PSG Talon is the worst or the third best team in a group, that's a fucking interesting group. I'd like to see that group play out. There's some interesting upset potential. If they're the second best team, realistically, Royal Never Give Up could win 5 or 6 games in this group, and we won't really have any answers about, are they a tournament champion? Are they a favourite? Like, I don't feel like they got the competition to go against. So, just based on what we've seen so far, thoughts on RNG, Yaska?
Yeah, so it's just so hard to actually tell what this team is going to be like when it comes to the next stages of the tournament, just because they've had no real like pushback from any of these teams. And it's like, you can really just look at what has been going on in the LPL for like answers to them, but there's not really anything that we can see of like their current form in Worlds, and like if like some kind of meta changes have actually stopped their playstyle from actually being able to work against the top teams. I don't expect that to be the case, and I still expect them to probably be like pretty good, but I don't necessarily have a good read on this team just because it's so hard in this group.
What do you think, Kira?
I think they look so sloppy. I think they're at borderline trolling. When I seen Xiaohu flash to go farm minions, and then it resulted in that Olaf getting a triple kill on the team, right? That's when I knew they're not actually taking this seriously. And you can say whatever you want, they are like, that is trolling to fucking a degree that, like, when I seen that, I was like, these guys are literally, like, they're laughing, like, patting each other on the arm and shit on the cameras. Like, they are not taking this anywhere remotely seriously. And they're not even the RNG evolved. They were playing against Hanwha. Ming genuinely tried to force a fight 3, 4, 5 times where he had people out of position, people were having to like out overreach with like their long range abilities and shoot into targets that were like not very effective and all that. And I'm just looking at it and I was like, this is not the RNG that like I had seen in the LPL, where it would be one deadly engage from Ming and they would chop the head off the opponent and that was it. It was just a dead carcass they were playing against, because it was like that key Drake fight or the key Baron fight. Xiaohu appears with all his farm and they win the fight. That's just really not... Look, Xiaohu's been getting his leads, but the engage, the vision setups, the laning has been very, very, very sloppy. The only thing I would say that is actually a bit, like, I'll go out on a limb here, is Cryan looks like he has actually like put a lot of time into understanding it, and they have only played TF mid, but they actually look like they do. Cryan has actually gotten better as like an individual player in the context of this, and they do actually look like they somewhat are understanding the pick a lot better and they're using it very well. So that's a good thing to see, so because they'll be able to contest the other teams on it.
Sure. One thing I'll say about this team, this is the charm that I actually like about this team, because I actually do think, by the way, if you know how strong some of the LPL teams are that didn't even come to this Worlds, and how strong the top 2 teams are at this tournament, like, they have just better rosters than RNG does. But what I like about RNG is, like, in theory, and obviously not in these games, like, they are very cohesive. And one of the things I think is almost a hack is, dude, Xiaohu, now he is a top laner, is almost on some, like, Doinby shit where he just controls the game. Like, bearing in mind, so much of this year has been about how you play around the top laner and get them ahead, etc. Well, the joke is, because he's basically the shot caller and the former mid laner and the top lane star and the most experienced player, like, and then his other main laners are super inexperienced players who are below him in the hierarchy, he can essentially just shot call the whole game around himself top lane. He can basically like fix any lane, get any gank he wants, play any champion he wants, and so you see, kind of like when Doinby's on his shit and the whole team operates around him like a machine, it makes them really good, and it means that they're a super unique team to play against. Like you can't just play against the teams in your region and think you're going to go against RNG. It's going to be the same sort of par for the course, you know. So I do think if they can power up in the playoffs, they can be a team that could be like they are the dark horse. I didn't mind people picking them. I just thought the fact that they were headed like EDGs of the world was egregious, you know. Mm-hmm. Does anyone think they can actually win Worlds?
Their play style is just so horrible to play against, because you basically show up, like, you use your abilities, you show up at the lane, you clear the vision, and Xiaohu's just not even there. He's actually like inside your jungle, telling your red buff, and then he TP's out, and you've like seen it, like completely missed him, and it's just like you're wasting so much time, because they are the best team in the world at setting up side lanes. They're unparalleled at doing it. Xiaohu's like out of laning, wave management of like where to put the wave and when to pressure the wave in the context of what else is happening on the map is like the best in the world. And it just looks very, very frustrating, because you basically never get a pitched battle against RNG unless they want to give you it.
Yeah, I think this is really just like the epitome of what it means to be a sort of cohesive team, is that you can punch way above your weight. But I also like EDG is not a team that is not cohesive. Like I don't really think they have any chance of winning Worlds simply because of EDG. They might have an off chance of beating Damwon with their style because of just that team is just not as strong without Nuguri. But I don't expect them to ever really win, simply because at some point they're going to have to face EDG.
Want to see more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.